Hello students, good morning. Today we'll be continuing with the lesson Diversity in Living Organisms. In the previous lessons we have discussed subclassification of kingdom. Today we'll move under the topic plant kingdom. Plant kingdom is further subclassified into Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. Here you can see that the word Pteridophyta starts with the letter P, but here P is silent and so we spell it as Pteridophyta. Then we have Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. Now let us go into detail about the plant kingdom. The first one, Thallophyta, or we call it as algae. You might have learned about algae in your previous lessons and previous years. What are thallophytes? Plants that do not have well differentiated body design fall in this group. The plants in this group are commonly called algae. These plants are predominantly aquatic. So you might have seen or heard about aquatic plants. So most of these plants that fall under this kingdom, they are aquatic. Examples are Spirogyra, Eulocthrix, Cladophora and Chara. You might find these words new, but you have to understand the meaning of thallophytes and you must know the different examples that come under the subkingdom Thallophyta or thallophytes. We move on to the next subclassification, that is Bryophyta. These plants are classified as or known as bryophytes. These are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Now, you might have heard the word amphibians in animals. You have learned that the animals that live both on land and on water are termed as amphibians. But here we are referring to the plants. So, the plant body is commonly differentiated to form stem and leaf-like structure. However, there is no specialized tissues for the conduction of water and other substances from one part of the plant body to another. Now, when we talk about the conduction, again we need to recall the terms xylem and phloem. You have learned about the conduction of water in the lesson tissues, and in that you have learned about plant tissues and the function of the xylem and phloem. But here we must know that there is no specialized tissues for the conduction of water or other substances. Examples of Bryophyta are moss or funaria and Mercantia. So these are the examples of Bryophyta. Now let's talk about Pteridophyta. The plant body is differentiated into roots, stems and leaves and has specialized tissues for the conduction of water and other substances from one part to another. Now let us see some examples of Pteridophyta. Examples are Marsilea, ferns and horsetails. Here I have given you the diagram or the figure in order to understand and identify the plant body. Please note that the thallophytes, the bryophytes and the pteridophytes have naked embryo that are called spores. So they are open, and the reproductive organs of plants in all these three groups are very inconspicuous. Now what do you mean by inconspicuous? Inconspicuous means not clearly visible. So you cannot see them clearly, and they are therefore called cryptogamy. or those with hidden reproductive organs. On the other hand, plants with well differentiated reproductive tissues that ultimately make seeds are called phanerograms. So you can talk to them as seedless plants and the plants with seeds. Okay, seeds are the result of the reproductive process. They consist of the embryo along with the stored food, which serves for the initial growth of the embryo during germination. Again, you have to recall the things that you have learned in standard 7th and 8th about the reproductive process of the plants. You might have learned about the germination process, and you have learned how the germination takes place in plants and how does the reproduction. You have learned about the sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction in plants. So for that you need to recall that topics and know about the spores, about the embryo and its growth in the plants. Okay, let us further talk about cryptogams in detail. Cryptogams literally means plants with hidden reproductive parts. Now this is not clearly given in your textbook, but it is just for your clarification so that you understand what are cryptogams. So cryptogams are plants that produce spores to reproduce instead of seeds. So these are the plants that do not have seeds, but still they reproduce with the help of spores. So these plants do not have flowers or fruits, and cryptogams are further classified as thallophytes, bryophytes and pteridophytes. So these three subclassifications are under those plants that do not have seeds and they reproduce through spores and they do not bear flowers or fruits. Whereas phanerogram are plants that produce seeds for reproduction. Some of them do not produce flowers while the others produce flowers. So we subclassify them under flowering plants and non-flowering plants. So under that classification, phanerograms are further classified as gymnosperms and angiosperms. What are gymnosperms? The plants of this group bear naked seeds and are usually perennial. What are perennial plants? Plants that lives more than 2 years. In Gujarati we tell it as barmasi. So they are perennial, evergreen and woody. So examples are pines and deodar. Now, in your lower classes, you might have learned about annual plants, biennial plants and perennial plants. So, this is just a quick revision for you to understand that annual plants germinate, bloom, set seeds and die all in 1 year. So, from the name itself, annual means in 1 year. Bi means 2. So, biennial plants have a life cycle of 2 years. So, they germinate and grow 1 year, bloom and die the following. Everything which lasts longer than 2 years is perennial, which in practical terms usually means it grows and flowers for many years. So, the gymnosperms, they are perennial plants. When we talk about angiosperms, this word is made from two Greek words. Angio means covered and sperma means seeds. So the seed develop inside an organ which is modified to become a fruit. So these are also called flowering plants. So plant embryos and seeds have structures called cotyledons. Now this cotyledons too you have learned in your lower classes. But let us again recall that cotyledons are called seed leaves because in many instances or in many examples they emerge and become green when the seeds germinates. The angiosperms are divided into two groups on the basis of number of cotyledons present in the seed. Mono means one or single. So the seeds that have a single cotyledon are termed as monocotyledonous plants, and the seeds that have two cotyledons, di means two, so they are termed as dicotyledonous plants. So this was all about angiosperms. Now dicot have taproot system and reticulate venation. Now you have learned about parallel venation and reticular venation in your class 7, but let us again revise it. Examples of dicots are mango, pea, beans, etc. If seeds have only one cotyledon, they become monocots. So monocots, they show fibrous root system and parallel venation. So examples of monocots are all grains like wheat, maize, rice, etc. Now this may not be given in detail in your textbook, but this is just a quick revision for you to understand monocotyledons and dicotyledonous plants. Okay, this is also a quick revision for you for the venation, that is veins. When veins or the nerves are arranged parallel to one another all over the leaf blade or lamina. You have learned about the leaf blade or lamina in your lower classes. So that type of structure is termed as the parallel venation, or when the veins or the nerves show network or web-like arrangement all over the leaf blade or lamina, it is called as reticulate venation. So here you can see the types of leaves and types of venation, that is subclassified into parallel vein and netted vein or the reticulated vein. Here you can see the diagram and you can clearly see the parallel venation and the reticulated venation. Okay, so we come to the last part of the classification of the plant system. You can see in this structure that plants are classified as vascular plants and non-vascular plants. Vascular plants are again subclassified into plants with seeds and seedless plants. When we talk about plants with seeds, then they are subclassified into angiosperms and gymnosperms. Angiosperms are further subclassified into monocots and dicots. The examples of monocots are grasses, lilies, palm tree, ginkgo trees, tulips and daffodils. The examples of dicots are flowers, vegetables and deciduous trees. When we talk about the examples of gymnosperms, they are pine trees and fir trees. Examples of seedless plants are ferns, horsetails and club mosses. When we talk about non-vascular plants, they include plants like mosses and liverworts. So this was all about the classification of the plant kingdom. Hope you have understood the classification of plant kingdom well. Here you can see the diagram as the pictures of angiosperms, the monocots, that are the grasses, lilies and palm tree, the ginkgo tree, tulips and daffodils, dicots as flowers, vegetables and deciduous trees, the pine tree and fir tree which comes under gymnosperms, and here you can see the seedless plants, that is the ferns, horsetail and the club mosses. You have come across the word ginkgo in the examples. So ginkgo biloba, this is just for your information, is commonly known as ginkgo and it's also known as maidenhair tree, and it is the only living species in the division Ginkgophyta, all others being extinct. So other plants have extinct, but this is the only one living, and it is a member of a very old genus with some fossils dating back 200 million years ago, and it has been planted since ancient times in Chinese and Japanese temple gardens, and is now valued in many parts of the world because it's a fungus and insect resistant ornamental tree, and it tolerates cold weather, and unlike most gymnosperms it can survive the adverse atmospheric conditions of the urban areas. Now, although widely cultivated, the plant is listed as an endangered species. So, I thought I must share it with you so that if we find such species, then we can grow it so that we also have a good plant that we can grow around us. Hope you have understood about plant kingdom. So in the next video we will be talking about the classification of animal kingdom. Have a nice day. Thank you.